The Galactic Council had convened an emergency session for the 14th time in as many cycles. Ambassador Zethkar of the Trilaxian Empire drummed his three-fingered hands against the crystalline table, his compound eyes reflecting the holographic displays that showed humanity's latest diplomatic venture. They've established 17 new colonies in contested space, hissed Representative Sela of the Serpentine Collective, her forked tongue tasting the tension in the recycled air, all without proper authorization from the Council. The massive form of Chancellor Groth shifted in his gravitational support chair, his rocky exterior cracking slightly as he processed the information. And their response to our formal protests? The same as always, Zethkar replied, pulling up the latest transmission from the human ambassador. They apologize profusely, promise to look into it, offer us some of their peculiar beverages called coffee, and continue exactly as they were doing before. For 300 standard years, this pattern had repeated itself. Humanity had burst onto the galactic scene like a solar flare, bright, energetic, and seemingly impossible to contain. They explored with reckless abandon, traded with anyone who would listen, and somehow managed to solve conflicts through what they called aggressive negotiations that usually involved buying their opponents dinner and talking until both sides collapsed from exhaustion. The Council had initially been charmed by these strange bipeds who seemed to apologize for everything, while simultaneously doing whatever they pleased. Humans would say sorry for breathing too loudly in council chambers, then proceed to accidentally discover 3 new hyperspace routes and establish mining operations on previously uninhabitable worlds. They're like children, Representative Vorth of the Crystalline Confederation had once observed. Dangerous, highly intelligent children who somehow keep stumbling into success. But the final straw came during what would later be known as the Altair incident. The humans had been negotiating a simple trade agreement with the Vortak hegemony, a militaristic species known for their rigid protocols and hair-trigger tempers. The negotiations should have been straightforward, rare earth metals in exchange for human agricultural technology. Ambassador Sarah Chen had arrived at the Vortak flagship with her usual arsenal of apologetic smiles and peace offerings. She bowed appropriately to War Master Cruex, presented the ceremonial gift of Earth chocolate, and began the lengthy ritual of formal introductions. Everything was proceeding normally until the Vortak Honor Guard accidentally vaporized the human diplomatic shuttle during a routine weapons test. The YAR Council monitoring stations recorded every detail of what happened next. Ambassador Chen stopped mid-sentence. Her perpetual smile vanished like a dying star. She slowly turned to face War Master Cruex, and in that moment, every species monitoring the transmission felt something they had never experienced from humanity before. Cold rage. You, Chen said, her voice dropping to barely above a whisper, just killed my pilot, Janet Morrison. She had 2 kids back on Luna. She was teaching her daughter to play violin. War Master Cruex, perhaps misreading the situation, puffed up his chest plates. The shuttle was in violation of our security perimeter. Your people should be more careful. What happened next would be studied in xenopsychology courses for generations to come. Chen didn't shout. She didn't threaten. She simply reached into her diplomatic pouch and pulled out her personal communication device. Johnson, this is Chen. Authorization Omega 77 Alpha. I'm invoking the Morrison Protocol. Across the galaxy, every monitoring station went silent. No species had ever heard of the Morrison Protocol. Within 6 hours, the Vortak flagship found itself surrounded by vessels that seemed to materialize from empty space. Not the usual human exploration ships with their cheerful paint schemes and diplomatic flags, but sleek, predatory craft that moved with lethal precision. The lead vessel opened communication channels. The captain who appeared on screen bore no resemblance to the apologetic diplomats the galaxy knew. His face was carved from granite. His eyes held the depth of black holes, and when he spoke, his words carried the weight of stellar collapse. War Master Cruex, you killed Janet Morrison. You made Sarah Chen cry. We're here to discuss your poor life choices. The Vortak, proud warriors all, lasted exactly 47 minutes. Not because they were weak. The Vortak were among the galaxy's most feared military forces. They lasted 47 minutes because that's how long it took the humans to completely dismantle their technological infrastructure, disable their weapons, and leave them floating helplessly in space while playing what they claimed was appropriate hold music. The human captain reopened communications. War Master Cruex, you have been found guilty of making Ambassador Chen sad. This is unacceptable. You will now provide full restitution to Janet Morrison's family, issue a formal apology that will be broadcast across 17 star systems, and attend a mandatory seminar on why we don't shoot diplomatic shuttles. The seminar will be conducted by Ambassador Chen herself and will include refreshments. The most terrifying part, according to the council records, was that the humans never stopped being polite. As the Vortak flagship was towed to the nearest human outpost for educational purposes, Ambassador Chen received a priority transmission. She wiped away her tears, straightened her jacket, and returned to her usual diplomatic composure. I'm so sorry about that unpleasantness, she told the council monitoring stations. Humans can be rather unreasonable when our friends are hurt. I hope this won't affect our trade negotiations. I've brought extra chocolate. The Galactic Council convened an emergency session that very day. The topic was no longer how to contain humanity's expansion or regulate their diplomatic irregularities. The topic was a single terrifying question. What else were the humans capable of when they finally stopped saying sorry? No species has answered that question since. No species wants to, and Janet Morrison's daughter still plays violin on a peaceful colony world where the local Vortak garrison sends her birthday cards every year.